What's happening, boxing heads and fight fans around the world? B Marsh with another boxing video. It's my breakdown and prediction for this super middleweight fight we have between the WBC champ at 154, Jermell Charlo from Houston, Texas, versus 29-0 versus 18-0 Erickson Lubin. Good fight right here, very good fight. Erickson Lubin stepping up his competition. I even really can't name too many guys he faced before, Well, there was Orlando Lara. There's that Cotto guy he fought last time. Let's just say his fighters have not been memorable. And that's no shame in his game. In my opinion, he was a prospect. And he was fighting the guys in front of him, trying to move up in the ranks and eventually become a contender. Well, he jumped from prospect to contender real fast, real quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because this is a big step-up fight, you know what I mean? Erickson Lubin's a good fighter, a southpaw. But I'm really not too sure about him versus the opposition he fought. Maybe he's ready for this fight. We shall find out come Saturday night, October 14th. Erickson Lubin's a very heavy-handed front foot fighter, you know what I mean? The man Erickson Lubin is a guy who actually puts pressure on his own opponents. He throws combination shots to the body. I think he's a better body puncher than Charlo. All kinds of punches from different angles, you know what I mean? Accumulation is how he destroys his opponents, you know what I'm saying? Has a nice left hand, you know what I mean? Of course, that's his strong hand. He throws it straight down the pipe. Not quite like fellas like Manny Pacquiao or Guillermo Rigondeaux, but it's effective enough, you know what I mean? It's actually a punch, like I said, he throws from angles many opponents don't see because of the mirage of punches he throws from his combinations. All right? And that's what I think of the man, Erickson Lubin. I think he's a good fighter, but we don't know too much about him, you know what I'm saying? Jermell Charlo, on the other hand, I've seen this guy fight numerous times. I've been seeing him fight since he had dreads, you know what I'm saying? The man, Jermell Charlo's a guy I've seen fight fellas. I've seen him fight live against Gabe Rosado. I've seen him fight against Vanes Martirosyan. I thought he lost that fight. I've seen him fight against the former Haitian-Canadian champ, world champ, Joaquim Alcine. Who else? Charles Hatley, of course. John Jackson, Julian Jackson's son. So we can say, the man Jermell Charlo actually has fought a lot of much better competition, you know what I mean? It'd have been nice for Erickson Lubin to actually get a chance to fight some of those guys that Jermell Charlo fought on his way up, You know what I'm saying? On his way up to getting the world title. Put him in there with John Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Or put Erickson Lubin in there with Vanes Martirosyan or any of those fighters he fought, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Because all those fighters that Jermell Charlo has beat, they're better than everybody Erickson Lubin has beat. And those are lower tier fighters that Jermell Charlo beat. Although good fighters, but he clearly won. But he didn't look especially spectacular in most of those fights. Especially against Gabe Rosado, against Vanes Martirosyan, and against John Jackson, albeit he did get the late knockout, you know what I'm saying? I had him losing every round till round 6 when he caught Julian Jackson. Julian Jackson turned his back on the man. He ain't want it no more. You know what I'm saying? The man was basically hanging off the ropes, basically, you know what I mean? And that was for a world title fight. You know what I'm saying? Is it a title? WBC 154? I'm not sure if his pops had. No, the pops, Julian Jackson, had a WBA 154 title. He beat that South Korean dude. What's that South Korean dude's name? Chow Bok or something. Strong South Korean dude, man. Chow Bok, one of the first 154 pounders that Julian Jackson, that was the first guy he beat, So as far as Jermell Charlo's style, Jermell Charlo is also a good combination puncher, but his bread and butter is definitely the 1-2. He has a beautiful 1-2, arguably one of the best 1-2 crosses in the game, you know what I mean? And he also has a beautiful left hook that he follows up beyond his 1-2. If Erickson Lubin been studying tape, he should know that the guy Jermell Charlo throws the 1-2, and he throws that left hook around it. And if you're not covering up or protecting yourself, a right hook will be followed behind that. Nice combination set, you know what I mean? Jermell Charlo throws nice combos. I think his are more crispy clean compared to Erickson Lubin. Erickson Lubin is a guy, I think in my opinion, he is the shorter guy, but he has a longer reach by a few inches. I think 2 inches, okay? Erickson Lubin, I think in my opinion, he don't need to box with Jermell Charlo. You know what I'm saying? He don't need to box with him. He need to put pressure on Jermell Charlo early, you know what I mean? John Jackson was outboxing Jermell Charlo. And Jermell Charlo, he can be outboxed, although he himself is a good boxer. But eventually he catches up to guys in the later rounds. He proves that his boxing skill set is better than the guys he faces. But I think Erickson Lubin, maybe he can mix it up, but I think his best chance to win is get on the inside. You know what I'm saying? That's where his combination punches and accumulation happen, and that's where he throws him and actually gets rid of opponents by overwhelming them with a mirage of punches. If he can do that and keep Jermell Charlo under pressure, and Jermell Charlo, he needs distance to close in on them 1-2s, you know what I mean? And that straight right hand down the pipe or his lead left hand, you know what I'm saying, from the jab stance. Remember how we caught Charles Hatley? All those punches were from distance, you know what I'm saying? The last punch is the one that eventually knocked him out, was from distance. Jermell Charlo caught him from distance, rocked him, the guy was wobbly, then he closed the distance and got with the accumulation punches. Charles Hatley didn't hold one bit, and he got put to sleep, man. So Erickson Lubin, his defense, I can't really call it so far because, you know, he hasn't fought the best of the best, you know what I mean? All his opponents, he's walked through them, literally. Just walked through these guys, you know? So if he can get on the inside and pressure this guy, Jermell Charlo, where Jermell Charlo can't gauge the distance and doesn't have room to let them 1-2s go or them nice left hooks and right hooks from distance, then Erickson Lubin has a good shot of winning this fight, you know what I mean? But if he can't do that, or even if he does and looks sloppy, which Erickson Lubin tends to do when he gets on the inside, when he's closing in with the mirage of punches. If Erickson Lubin gets on the inside and gets sloppy and doesn't get his opponent out of there, then he'll be overexerting his energy, and Jermell Charlo could capitalize off of that, you know. So in my opinion, I think Jermell Charlo, he's gonna have to keep the distance, keep Erickson Lubin, outbox the guy, you know what I'm saying? Straight up outbox him, because when it gets to comes to a brawling fight, I think Erickson Lubin will win. This guy's too heavy-handed, power in each hand. I've seen him knock out opponents with either hand, left or right, and he's a southpaw. Jermell Charlo, he's been sparring with guys like Errol Spence, so he gets the advantage there. That's some good sparring right there, you know what I mean? Maybe he'll go to the body of Erickson Lubin, you know? But Jermell Charlo, to me, he's not a guy who goes often to the body. I think Lubin is a better body puncher because of the variety of punches and from different angles. But I think Jermell Charlo's experience, I think, will eventually be the deterring factor on why I think he will win this fight, you know what I'm saying? I think Jermell Charlo has faced better opponents. I'm not too sold on him like I was his brother. And just 2 years ago, if you asked me who was a better fighter, I would have told you Jermell Charlo, just straight off the opposition he fought. Because Jermell Charlo hadn't fought nobody. He had a kind of career trajectory like the man Erickson Lubin. His first step-up fight, the big brother, was guy from Detroit, what's his name? Cornelius Bundridge, K9. And you see what he did to them. Then he fought fellas like Austin Trout. So, you know, Austin Trout is better than anybody Jermell Charlo has ever faced, you know what I mean? So that Charlo brother stepped his competition up. But like I said, man, this is a fight of the unknown between Erickson Lubin. We'll find out if he's really the real deal, but you know, I have him losing this fight. Jermell Charlo 7-5. He'll win a split decision or unanimous decision, either way. But it'll be a 7-5, 115 to 113 scorecard, in my opinion, for Jermell Charlo. If Erickson Lubin, like I said, can get on the inside, put pressure on this guy, drop them powerful hammering bombs he has, He could win this fight, man. But that's gonna be what gonna be remain to be seen. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to see if Erickson Lubin can do that against top tier opposition, unlike the guys he's been fighting previously. And there's nothing wrong with the guys he fought previously. Like I said, he was a prospect in my opinion. Well, he jumped from prospect to contender real fast. 7-5, split or unanimous decision. Jermell Charlo. B-Marsh Boxing. Leave your thoughts and comments and let me know who you think's gonna win this fight. I'm not going to talk about the Lara Gausha fight. Not too familiar with Gausha. I think Lara should take care of business. And neither am I going to talk about Leo Santa Cruz versus Carl Frampton leftover. I'm not going to talk about Abel, what's his name, Abner Mares fight neither. You know what I'm saying? Those two guys should be fighting each other rather than fighting obscure opponents. B-Marsh Boxing. Leave your thoughts and comments. I'm gone.